Lauderdale Lakes. This is your Mayor, Veronica Edwards Phillips, here this evening with our Clerk of the Court, Mrs. Brenda D. Forman. However, before we start our discussion this evening, I would like to say that a stalwart of our community, Dr. Brenda Snipes, has passed away. So I'm going to ask us if we would please have a moment of silent meditation and reflection. Thank you so very, very much. Well, good evening, Mrs. Forman, Clerk of the Court, Madam Clerk. How are you this evening?
Good evening, Mayor. How are you? I am great. It's a wonderful day.
It's a wonderful day, and I'm so glad that you were able to join us this evening to talk about the Clerk of the Court and what the Clerk of the Court does. But before we get to that point, tell me a little bit about you, your background, and how you came to this position.
Well, it's good. It's a long one.
All right, then.
But you want me to snip
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I want the Cliff Notes version, if you will.
it was never a dream to become the Clerk of the Court. Prior to me being the Clerk of the Court, I was married to the Clerk of the Court. And that's when the dream came about to become the Clerk of the Court. My background, I'm a licensed realtor for 18 years, owner of B. Dixon Mortgage Company. I have 3 daughters. I have 4 grandkids, and a lot of college education background. If I got somebody out there in the audience that like to help me with math, I can finish my bachelor's. But becoming the Clerk of the Court, and I became the first female and the first African American to hold the seat as the Clerk of the Court in 2016 when I was elected. So it was never a dream. It was just a guidance from the good Lord above for me to become the Clerk of the Court. And I've been holding the seat now for almost 8 years.
Well, great. We're so glad that you are here in that position. I have heard great things about the Clerk of the Court. I have experienced great things about the services that the Clerk of the Court does. So I want to thank you before we even get started for the great services that you all do, and to thank your staff for everything that they do for the community. Yes. Now, when we say Clerk of the Courts, we sometimes see the whole judicial system, the clerk, the judge, the court reporters. What does the Clerk of the Court do, and how is that distinguished from all of the other parts of the system?
The Clerk of the Court is actually the heartbeat of all of the agencies. The clerk is the collector of fees, fine, court costs. We do marriages. We have passports. You can pay your parking tickets. The felony side, we have also we do mental health, guardianship. So we are the ones that's in the middle of everything and everyone, and everything that's outside around us has to come through the courthouse in order to take care of their business and do their business. So that is what we are there for, to make sure that we are protector of all of those records once you file for even a divorce, sorry to say. But we are the heartbeat of the clerk's office.
So if I have a parking ticket, I want to get a marriage license, I want to do a civil suit.
Yes.
Also?
Yes, also. Yes. Foreclosures. Appeals.
Wow.
Yes.
That is a
family
lot.
Changing your name. Anytime you want to go upstairs to take care of just little matters when it comes to your home, we are there that you file everything through us.
So you can do mortgage deeds there also, and changes on your mortgage deed?
I just took over the records department from the county, and yes, you can.
Wow, so you're a one-stop shop, huh?
Yes, I am.
So see there, you just have to go downtown to the Clerk of the Court's office, and basically you can get all of your needs met through Mrs. Forman's office.
Yes, you can.
Okay. Yeah. Now, if a resident would like to get their records expunged, which is so very, very important, because sometimes that deters one from being able to get employment, also being able to vote, getting credit, and those type of things that impact their lives. What do they need to do?
Seal and expungement. We have it every 3 months. We just had one the second week of October. I collaborate with the state attorney's office. It is a free workshop. Once you walk through the door after you register, you go through the state attorneys. We have all of the attorneys that you can ask questions. They pull your file to make sure that you are qualified to get a record seal. There are a lot of areas that you cannot get sealed or get expunged. And once you go through that workshop with us, you speak to the attorney, you speak with them, you talk with them, you can get your fingerprints done for free. And once you get all that done, you come to the clerk's office side of it and you get a certified copy that you do not have to pay for anything except $75 that you have to send to FDLE in order to have that particular record sealed or spun. But if you have several cases or several files, you can only get one sealed or expunged. And I always tell anyone, get the evil of all of them and have that one particular one sealed and expunged. And it will stay sealed and expunged as long as it's sealed.
Can I ask you, Madam Clerk, why only one?
The FDLE will only allow you to get one.
Only
That's
one?
the state that would allow that.
So you're saying if you only have one, get the evil one out of the way?
Yes, you can get misdemeanor ones, but if you're a sexual battery, you cannot get that sealed.
Okay.
Domestic violence, it's according to how stringent that is, you cannot get that sealed. If you had a third-degree felon when it comes to murder, you cannot get it sealed. If you had a third degree when it comes to drug charges, certain drug charges you cannot get sealed.
I'm glad you stated those specifics because I was going to ask you which ones that you cannot get.
Those are just a few, and those are the ones that a lot of, every time they come to the sealing and expungement workshop, those are the 4 that I have experienced whenever they come. And those are the main questions that they ask for, those 4 specific.
How and when do you schedule those workshops? Because I would love to have one here in the city of Lauderdale Lakes.
The next time that a sealing and expungement workshop is going to be in February. We don't know which location yet, but it's going to be in February. So if you want one here in Lauderdale Lakes, reach out to the state attorney's office, and they're the ones who will be able to set it up with you.
Okay, I certainly will do that because we never know in our community who needs that service and just is not able to come down to the courthouse or have the means to come to the courthouse. And it's only $75
To FDLE.
to FDLE?
Yes.
And that's it? No.
All of the paperwork that when they come through, fingerprints, the case number, and for us to make sure that it is certified, they put it in that envelope. The address for the FDLE is on there, already prepared for you. Wow. All you have to do is put that check in there, seal it, and send it off.
Wow, you all give curbside service there.
And we do.
I love it. I love it. Now, another important matter, returning citizens. During the election, we know that the state of Florida voted to have those who had their sentences, that served out their sentences, and wanted to have their voting rights restored. There was a little controversy about that. Tell us about that, and then I'll ask you some other questions as it relates to that.
Okay. To get your rights back, if you had any fees or fines or court costs attached to your record when you went to prison and when you came out, and those fees and fines and court costs are still attached, you will have to clear all of that up. If you owe someone money, we do not waive that. We do not take it away. You will have to still pay that restitution to that particular person. But you have to clear up all your fees and your fines in order for you to be able to take that information over to the supervisor of election, show them that you paid those fees and fines and court costs, and then they will have you to fill out the form in order for you to get your rights back.
Does your office have a record of how much or to whom fines and fees are due?
Yes, we have those records. All you have to do is come, let us know your name and your birth date. We will pull it up and we will tell you exactly how much money that you owe.
If the amount is a greater amount, is there a payment plan or installment plan? Or do you have to pay all at one time?
Well, if they have the money, I would love it. But if not, we do have a payment plan that you can go on. But until you make all of those payments, you cannot go to the supervisor of elections and say, well, I paid all my fees. When you are on a payment plan, you have to have a zero balance with us, and then you can be able to get your rights back.
Okay. So they take the paperwork to the SOE's office.
Yes.
And the SOE knows what to do. They know what the process is once it gets to their office.
Absolutely.
Okay. That's great. That it seems to be a simple process, but for some reason it has become difficult, or explanations in the community have not been very, very clear. So a returning citizen needs to come to your office,
Yes.
number one. You all will look him or her up,
Yes.
what they owe, to whom they owe,
Yes.
what they owe. They will pay their fines either in full or installments.
Yes.
When it is paid in full, you will give them the appropriate paperwork to take to the supervisors of elections
Yes.
office, and the supervisor of elections office will do what they need to do, give them an application to sign up to be a registered voter
Yes.
in Broward County.
Absolutely.
And then they will receive their voter registration
Absolutely.
card
Yes.
and will be able to
Yes.
vote from there. All right. Our returning citizens, this is such great information. And then another question, do you have workshops in communities to talk about returning citizens or to help them through that process rather than going down to your office?
If the community, let's say for instance your office, I know you have a lot of workshops or programs that happens over in the community
Yes,
center.
we do.
So if I'm invited out
Oh, wonderful.
to talk about it, we will come out. But we ourselves, as far as the clerk's office, we just don't go into the communities to
Okay.
speak about it. I can only do it if you ask me to come out and speak about it.
And then that information is powerful. So
Very.
even if you speak about it and someone is listening, 1, 2, 3, 4 people who gets the information that they need to have, then that is going to be helpful and impactful to them. Because can you imagine, you have served your sentence, you've come out, you have been a model citizen from that time, and you still cannot vote. So that process is so very, very important so that you can exercise one of your rights.
Absolutely.
Which is to vote.
Yes.
So we're looking forward to having more information, more discussions, more conversations with you. Do you by any chance know how many returning citizens have received their right to vote restored?
When it first came out and it was on the ballot and it says that they can do this, there was a program where we received, if I'm not mistaken, it may have been over 200 and some odd people that paid all of their fees and fines when it first started. But at this moment, I do not have a complete record of how many people have done it.
Okay. Before we go on to the next topic, is there anyone online who may have any questions for the clerk of the court? Because we certainly want to get your input. We want you to have the questions answered that you have to share information. You're on. We can hear you. Well, we can't hear you. If you could speak louder for us, but in the meantime, we want to make sure that we get all of your questions. Can you speak louder, please? Well, hold your question. Raise your hand when you're ready, and we'll come back to you. All right, thank you. Madam Clerk, the City of Lauderdale Lakes is a diverse community, and we love the diversity here in our community. We have residents who speak many languages. We have many cultures in the City of Lauderdale Lakes. What languages are spoken in your office?
English,
Okay.
Spanish, Creole, and French. Some people think that Creole and French is the same, but there's a difference in their dialect. So we have those 4 languages that my employees, that I know for a fact when they sit at the counter and at the windows, we do have those 4 languages. But if you go to my website and you want to view anything that has to do with your language, at the top right-hand corner, it's going to ask you what language are you looking for. All you do is click on that particular part of it and find the language that you want, and it would translate everything into your language on my webpage.
So on the website, you have many more languages than the 4
Yes.
that you just told us
Yes.
that you have on there. And all it does is a click of a button,
Yes.
and they can go to their particular language
Yes,
for that.
absolutely.
Because I think in Broward County schools, there are about 67 languages that are spoken. So I don't know how extensive your website is. But it's good to know that in addition to those 4 languages, that you also have many more languages
Yes.
that our residents can access information.
Absolutely.
And they can always give you a call. Is that correct?
That is correct. And they can call 954-831-65 6565. That's 954-831-6565.
Okay, great. What does community outreach look like for your office? Do you have seminars, workshops, brochure information? Tell us about that.
Besides the sealing expungement workshop, which we collaborate with the state attorney's office, we do a driver's license clinic. The driver's license clinic means if your license has been suspended because you cannot pay your fees or your child support, we do a workshop where we have the Department of Revenue there, which is child support. You come directly through us. We have 3 or 4 judges that sits on the bench. We will process you through. We will send you to their courtroom. If they waive all of your fees or some of your fees, and once again, if you still owe restitution, that cannot be waived. If the judges does that, you bring the paperwork back down to the office, to the front counter. My staff will waive all of your fees.
Wow.
We even have the driver's license motor vehicle there as well. So once all that is paid, you will go to the division of motor vehicle, whatever fee that you have to pay them, because they have a fee that you have to pay. So that fee will not get waived. You will get your license back the very same day.
So speaking of motor vehicles, there is a driver's license where you can get your tags, or just your driver's license itself?
When we do the clinic, it's just the driver's license
license.
itself. But if you have a problem with your tag, you can always ask them questions in reference to that. But once that happens, they'll send you to their division, whichever location they're going to send you to in reference to your tag. But we only takes care of the license.
Okay. So what I'm hearing, it just takes a little bit of patience.
Yes, it does.
For the services that you need to get and the issues that you need to have resolved.
Absolutely.
That you come in, let your staff know what is needed. If for whatever reason that's not in your office, they know where to refer them
Yes.
to. If it is in your office, then pack your patients and a lunch maybe. And
Well, we are going to be having another driver's license clinic December 6th.
okay.
From 8 o'clock in the morning until 3:30 in the afternoon. But you have to register in order to do this one, because every time that I have an open door policy, people can walk in, it becomes hectic. The judges kind of get nervous because there's so many people coming through and they want to get them in and get them out. So we're going to have you to register this time in order to do this driver's license clinic. So that information is located on my website. If you ever in the courthouse, there's different billboards around that can show you exactly what you can do in order to register for the driver's license clinic that's coming up on December 6th.
So December 6th is the day. What is that time again?
8 o'clock in the morning to 3:30 in the afternoon.
And parking is in the public parking garage?
It is. And if you park in the public parking garage, please bring your ticket inside with you for me to validate it. Wonderful. And you can get out for free. But if you park anyplace else, I cannot reimburse you your money for parking on the street.
All right, that's also good information to know. Park in the parking garage, take your ticket out of your car, bring it with you into the clerk's office, and after you receive your services, it can be validated.
Yes, it will be.
And you will not have a charge when you pull out. I mean, that is something that is great to know, because sometimes we park on the streets or we park in the other municipal type parking lots, and your office will not be able to take care of that. But the parking garage, yes.
The parking garage, yes.
Oh, I love that. This is great. The holiday season is upon us. Is there going to be any community outreach during the holiday season? It's just Thanksgiving. There's Christmas coming up. There are other holidays coming up. Are you going to make any efforts to let the community know what's going on?
That is the only thing that we're going to be having is the driver's license clinic for the holiday, because normally the judges are gone sometime through the month of December. Their shift is kind of a little bit because it's a holiday. A lot of judges don't want to be on the bench. They don't want to deal with the public in reference to a lot of things, so they schedule their time for some of them to be in the office and some of them to be out of the office. But the driver's license clinic is the only thing that we're going to be having for community outreach.
And that is December 6th.
That's December 6th. But do know now, starting in the new year, I do mass marriages.
That's my next question. Okay,
I'm just
tell
taking
us-
over your
Tell
questions.
us about the mass marriages.
The mass marriage, which will be put out in December, because you have to have your marriage license 60 days before you get married. And we're going to do that on Valentine's Day. And it's going to be at the clerk's office. It's going to be in one of my larger courtrooms. So once you see that you're going to get married on Valentine's Day, you're going to have to calm down, and you're going to have to, you and your partner, or you and your spouse or to be, you come down and you get your license, because both of you have to show up at the same time. One person cannot come without the other. You register, you put in for your license, you pay for it, and then you come back on Valentine's Day, and I marry everyone at one time.
Oh, wow. What a great civil ceremony that is.
Yes.
It has to be exciting.
Oh, it's very exciting. When I first did it, the very first year that we did it, I had 300 people. So there was 150 couples that I married at one time. And then after that was because of the shooting at Marjorie Stone Douglas. Everything kind of like slowed down a little bit. And then COVID came, and then we didn't have it that year. We didn't have it in 21. So then we started back up in 22. We had it this year, and then it's going to, as long as nothing happens, we will continue to have it. And it's very exciting. I just love it.
Okay. How much is it for a marriage license? What do they need to do in order to participate in the Valentine's Day civil ceremony?
They can go to the website www.browardclerk.org. That's www.browardclerk.org. And you can look at the forms. You can go into marriage, and it'll tell you exactly what you need to do. But make sure both of you come when you do come down, to make sure that you get that license on that particular day. And once my staff tell you what you need to do after you pay your fees, then you come back on Valentine's Day, and we do our thing. I decorate. It is,
wow.
We decorate as if you are seriously in a church to get married. Flowers, candles, lights. We have photographers. I just do it up.
Who would think that goes on in the clerk's office? You would think that you come in, you get your license, and I do, and you're gone. Mm-hmm. But it's a whole ceremony.
It's the entire ceremony.
Yeah, I just may come down to observe and to see it and participate in the festivities.
You're welcome to come.
All right. I would love to do that.
Yes.
Okay. Now, do we have anyone online? But thank you all for those who are online, who came out this evening to hear Mrs. Brenda Forman, the clerk of the court, Madam Clerk of the Court. It is so important that we know what goes on in our community, the services that are offered in our community, and the different departments and the different systems that are located in our community. Again, Mrs. Forman, the City of Lauderdale Lakes, and I, the Mayor of the City of Lauderdale Lakes, Veronica Edwards Phillips, thank you so very, very much for coming out this evening. And we look forward to having further conversations with you. Whenever there's anything going on in the clerk's office, please let us know.
I will. So I'm going to repeat the phone number.
Absolutely.
To you, 954-831-6565. That's 954-831-6565. And the website is www.browardclerk.org. That's www.browardclerk.org.
Again, thank you so very much. God bless.
Thank you, Mayor.
And I look forward to that civil ceremony.
Yes,
coming
ma'am.
on.
Yes, thank you.
Take care.
Take care.